Some people think power gives them control. My HOA thought they could barricade my private mountain road, post up armed guards, and order me around like a tenant in my own land. What they didn't know, and what became their ultimate downfall, was that I was the one who carved that road into the mountain rock with my own hands, sweat, and money. And when they tried to take it away, I reminded them exactly who owned what, and just how fast an empire built on arrogance can collapse. I moved into my mountain property 10 years ago. Back then, there was no road, no easy way up, just rugged trail through sharp switchbacks, loose gravel, and uncut forest. Everyone told me it wasn't worth it, that I'd waste my savings trying to tame the mountain. But I had a vision. I wanted solitude, a cabin overlooking the valley, and the satisfaction of building something permanent. So I did what stubborn men do. I made the impossible happen. I hired a team of contractors, up on their budget estimates. I bought my own bulldozer. For 2 years, I worked nights and weekends, carving out a mile-long road up the mountain. Rain washed away half my progress more than once. Boulders the size of cars had to be split and hauled. I can still remember the bruises, the blisters, and the sharp smell of diesel as I finally broke through to the ridge where my cabin would stand. By the end of it, I didn't just have a home. I had a road that was mine, legally deeded, surveyed, and registered with the county. My sweat had bought me freedom. For almost a decade, that road was my quiet lifeline to town. Neighbors respected it. Hunters occasionally asked permission to use it. And even the Forest Service praised the quality of the grading. But that peace didn't last. The HOA moves in about 3 years ago. Developers bought land lower down the mountain, closer to the valley. They saw dollar signs in the views, and before I knew it, there was a shiny new subdivision, oversized chalets, rustic lodges, and manicured lawns that didn't belong in the wild. With them came something worse, an HOA. At first, I ignored them. They weren't my problem. I wasn't part of their community. My land was older, separate, never annexed into their covenants. I thought they'd leave me alone, but entitlement spreads like wildfire. The first letter arrived in spring. Dear resident, all mountain access roads must meet HOA safety standards. Please submit your road for inspection. I laughed out loud and tossed it in the fire pit. My road wasn't theirs. The second letter was sharper. Failure to comply may result in restricted access or fines. I sent them a certified copy of my deed highlighting the section proving private ownership. I thought that would end it. It didn't. The escalation by summer, I noticed more and more of their residents using my road. At first it was a car here, an SUV there. I'm not unreasonably. Never minded neighbors passing through if they waved and drove slow. But soon, it turned into convoys of luxury cars, weekenders hauling trailers, and even landscaping trucks. Tearing ruts into the gravel, I stopped one driver once and asked why he was using my road. His response floored me. The HOA said it was community property. They told us to use it. It's safer than the steep incline road. Community property? I nearly exploded. I attended one of their HOA meetings to set the record straight. Board, led by a smug man named Craig, listened with polite smiles as I laid out the facts. When I was finished, Craig leaned back in his leather chair and said, "That may be how it used to work, but now this community is responsible for all mountain access. It's a matter of safety and liability. You'll thank us later." I stormed out, realizing they weren't confused. They were trying to take it from me. The guards appear one chilly autumn morning. I drove down the mountain to pick up supplies. On my way back, I found something that made my blood boil. A steel gate stretched across my road. 2 armed security guards in tactical vests leaned against a truck parked sideways, blocking the way. I pulled up and rolled down my window. "Move." The gate. "This is my road," I said flatly. One of the guards shifted his rifle, more for show than threat. "HOA orders. This road is closed for unauthorized use." Unauthorized. On my own road, I demanded to speak to Craig. They told me to submit a request through official HOA channels. That night, I camped in my truck at the foot of my road, staring at the gate. the fury in my chest burning hotter with every passing hour. The counter-strike, not the kind of man to roll over. If they wanted a war, they'd get one. But I wasn't going to play their game. I was going to end it on my terms. The first thing I did was go to the county office. I requested copies of the subdivision plat maps, the easements, the deeds, everything. As I suspected, my road wasn't included anywhere in their filings. It was entirely separate, private, and fully mine. The county official even raised an eyebrow when I explained what was happening. "They can't legally do that," she said. "It's blocking your access. That's grounds for a lawsuit." Exactly what I wanted to hear next. I hired a lawyer, a sharp woman named Linda, who loved nothing more than bulldozing arrogant HOAs. She drafted a cease and desist letter, citing every law, statute, and precedent in the book. We delivered it to Craig's office by hand. His response? He doubled the guards, but I was patient. I knew their arrogance would be their undoing. The breaking point, a week later, a snowstorm hit. Heavy drifts blocked the official subdivision road, making it impassable. Suddenly, my road, the one they had closed, was the only usable route. Down the mountain, the HOA panicked. Residents lined up at the gate, begging the guards to open it. I stood nearby, arms crossed, watching the chaos unfold. Craig himself showed up, red-faced, barking orders. Finally, he spotted me. "Open the road," he demanded. I grinned. "You mean my road? The one you blocked?" He sputtered. "This is a community emergency. People need access." I leaned in, lowering my voice just enough for him to hear. Double quotes funny. "Craig, you said it was your road. If that's true, why are you asking me?" His jaw tightened, but he said nothing. Legal justice. Spring, the lawsuit was in full swing. My lawyer filed claims for trespassing, illegal seizure of private property, harassment, and damages for every rut, every oil spill, every time their trucks had chewed up my gravel. The HOA tried every trick. They argued the road had become common. They claimed they had safety jurisdiction. They even tried to bribe me with a so-called maintenance stipend. But the evidence was ironclad. I had receipts for every cubic yard of gravel, permits for the bulldozer, surveys proving the boundaries, now photos documenting years of upkeep when the judge finally ruled. His words were music to my ears. The HOA has no legal claim to the road in question. Furthermore, their obstruction of the owner's access constitutes unlawful interference. Damages awarded $250,000. $250,000. Enough to repave the road twice over. Sweet revenge. The day the guards packed up and the gate came down, I stood at the ridge and watched the HOA board shuffle in humiliation. Craig wouldn't even look me in the eye. I didn't stop there, though. With the settlement money, I upgraded the road, new gravel, reinforced drainage, even solar-powered lights along the switchbacks. And then I installed something special at the bottom, a gate, a real one. This time, it was mine. I gave out exactly 3 keys. One for me, one for the county emergency services, and one for the Forest Service. The HOA? They got nothing. So now, when their shiny SUVs try to sneak through, all they find is a locked gate and a reminder that greed doesn't build, destroys. And every time I drive my truck up that mountain road, I smile, knowing one truth they'll never forget. You don't mess with the man who built the road. Asterisk, this story is just the beginning. There's so much more ahead. Subscribe to the channel to join me on this journey.